Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Today we're going to talk about German railways. This is another train game. Now this one came out quite a while ago, so it's going to feel a little bit aged and a little bit apart. It's going to have a bland coloring to it, something that some people may enjoy. And I may start to think that people who like train games may like these bland colors because they seem to always pop with these browns and dull colors. I'm not really sure what that's about, but it's not something I enjoy. I enjoy more vibrant and colorful things. Now this game is going to be a basic building routes, trying to build this train route, and trying to score points. It is going to be kind of like almost like a light 18XX game, only in the fact that you're building trains and you're going to have company money versus your own money. So you have to keep that track straight about, okay, I'm buying shares in this company in order to increase my own personal finances. That's going to be new for some people. That's going to be a little bit of a mind warp for them, that they're going to have to understand that these are separated, and I'm only investing in these companies in order to create my own personal wealth. With that said, I think the long and short of it is this game is going to be liked or disliked based on the player order tracker and how it works. Basically, depending on if you're ahead in the game or not, there's a catch-up mechanism that allows you to put your colors in the bag, and those will be drawn out to give the player order and how many actions you're going to have in a turn. It's entirely possible that you can go multiple rounds without actions. It's entirely possible that you're playing against people who may have 3 or 4 actions and you have none. It's entirely possible that you're watching the majority of this game unfold. And while that may work and it may balance the game and may be a catch-up mechanism, I didn't find it very much fun. In that regard, I kind of lost my interest in this game. I want to be an active participant in the game, right? That's the big complaint against some cooperative games, that you have an alpha player. You have this one player who's really running the show. Well, in this game, things can happen around me, or I may need to make a crucial move in the game, and I don't even get an opportunity to make that move. I have to sit and watch. And you can say, hey, that's part of the game. That's the rules. Perhaps, but it isn't fun. You know, it isn't fun for me to watch you play a board game. Even though, it's kind of funny, I do watch playthroughs sometimes, but it's more to learn the game. I do kind of like to have them in the background sometimes. But I don't want to sit down with my friends and watch my friend play a board game. I want to be an active participant in it. Sure, there are other ways to manipulate things and do things. There's auctioning off of shares. I want to take my turn. And I don't like skip a turns. I don't like lose a turns. I don't like any of that garbage in games. I want to be able to take my turn, have fun, make my decisions, and have control over my game as much as possible within the game. And I don't get it here. And I think that this is, amongst other reasons, the large reason why this game may have fell flat. Now, there are some big fans of this game. There are some people who really, really like this game, and they'll go on about it. But I think that's a small minority. I think you have to know going in, train games, going to be bland. Are there better train games? I like to think so. Yeah, I think Age of Steam is better than this. But this has a minority amount of people who really like this game. And you'll see positive review after positive review. I just can't get over the fact that I'm not getting turns. It just drives me crazy. So for that regard, now if you can get past that, it doesn't bother you, you don't mind going maybe an entire turn of the game without getting your chance to go, or 2 or 3 turns, and you're okay with that, then set it aside. This may be the train game for you. To me, that's just way too much downtime, way too much things going on that I'm not invested in. So it's going to be a purge for me. And one, I would probably tell you, unless you can get over that hump, just pass this one on by. Nothing to see here. German railways, you can see it's Iron Horse Collection #1. Very attractive box with this train coming at you if you like that sort of thing. When you open it up, you're going to get a rule book, which you can see here has double-sided for language. This side would be the English, the one I can read. And we'll take a look at this in a few minutes. You'll get a board, which I will open up. And then inside, you're going to get a little baggie. You're going to get a bunch of trains. These little trains and these little markers that you'll be utilizing. These are about what you would expect from 2008 era. Very nice, very attractive, but made of wood. You're going to get a number of shares. These things are paper thin. They're not very good at all. They do lack some major details on them. You're going to get a number of coins. You're going to get more than this. This is just kind of what I popped out because I like to use metal coins with my games. So I brought a few out just to show you what they look like. But they are pretty attractive coins. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. And they're very nice, especially when you compare them to these shares that you get. Overall, the components are fine. It's about what you would expect from a train game of this era. Nothing stands out. I do like the board, though. I think, these colors are just so darn bland, but the board is very user-friendly. You got the income track, the powers across here, the income track for the individual players, and then how much things cost up here in a turn track. I liked it pretty much. It's just so muted with these greens and these browns. Ugh. I like brighter colors, but this is what it is. Here's a rulebook for German railways. Even for 2008, very good 3 to 5 player game. Gives you a little synopsis and a picture of the components, which is a necessary thing for me. Picture of setup with the rules right here and a prepare to play. Gives you a quick overview of the sequence of play. Pass, offer, share, or build a track. All that you can do. And it kind of goes through that and gives you a more detailed explanation of what all those things mean. And then the powers for the companies. Now, the powers for the companies are not on player aid. Not anywhere but here. They're not on the board. They're not on the share. So they're here. So you might be passing this around a lot to people get used to the game. So what I'm going to do is just a quick overview of kind of what happens in this game. So this track over here will be the individual players. You're going to have a plus 50 on this side if you happen to lap the 50 here. But otherwise, these are going to keep track for the individual players. So if you're green and you're on 36, that means you have 36 income, white's 23, and etc. So these will be the individual players. At the bottom here, you will see a track, and this will track with these square cubes the income for the different companies. So if the red company has an income of 8, you put the cube on 8. Not to be confused with the color of the red player. So it's a little bit confusing that some of the shares are going to share colors with the players. They do not correlate. So the green player could be the primary shareholder in the red company. Not crazy about that, but please know that it exists. It's also important to know that you'll be obtaining money throughout the game. This will be the primary source of victory points. It is possible for individual players to have money. In addition, these companies will have money. So the orange company could have $5, as could the yellow player. So it's important to know that these companies, you're going to be buying shares into these companies, and the shares will look like this. And as you purchase the shares, you will have a vested interest in the companies to have money, even though it's not necessarily in your pocket. That's an important concept of this game. So when you purchase these shares, you want the company to do well for what you happen to be a shareholder of. What you're going to do each round is you're going to take the bag, and based on player order, you would put a number of the discs into the bag. If you're in first place, you would put 1 marker into the bag. Second place is white. They will put 2 into the bag. Red is third, so red will put 3 into the bag. Blue is next, so they will put 4 into the bag. And yellow would be last, and they would put the maximum number into the bag, which would be 5. So that's all in the bag, and you shuffle this up. So to determine turn order, which is the first thing you would do, you can tell that green has the least because they're in first. This is definitely a catch-up mechanic. And then you're going to see up here it's 1 through 5 that you can have. So you're going to draw from the bag, and you're going to bring blue. Blue will have the first action in the turn. The next action will be yellow. The following action will be done by blue again. So blue's going to get 2 actions this round. So we already know that somebody, yellow's going to get the second action. Not a big surprise because they were in the bottom, and red will get an action. So that means this turn of the game, green and white will do nothing and not have any actions. This part of the game is going to turn a lot of people off. If you don't mind watching people play board games, this will be fascinating to you. If you like to watch people play board games. But if you're the type of person who wants to take a turn, every turn, and most people are, you are not going to enjoy this as much because taking actions in the game is how you're going to control the game. It is a catch-up mechanic. It's interesting. It works. I don't know that it's fun. So when it's your turn, then you can choose to do a few things. You could pass and do nothing. You can offer a share up to auction, and then each player would auction off their income that they have, the money that they have, in order to purchase a share in a company. The money that you are able to obtain for auctioning it off will go to the company, not the person. So if you were to buy a yellow share, the yellow company would take ownership of the 5 coins it took to purchase it. And then the majority of what you'll be doing during the game is purchasing rails, and you'll be putting these out. If you look up here in the top left, you can see to go on a green is 2 coins, and the brown would be 3, and over the mountain, the gray regions would be 4. So you can just kind of purchase this out, trying to get to these towns or spaces like here in Berlin that would increase the income for Berlin. So if blue were able to get there, the blue company would then have 3 additional income. So you would move them up on the tracker at the bottom to showcase the additional income. If 2 companies ever end up in the same space, the game will pause and dividends will be paid out. It will be all railroads paying the dividends. For each share of the company that you have, you would be able to obtain the amount of income that company is on this track. So for every share of purple you have, you would get $6. For every red, 8. For black would be 4, and green would be 1 in this example. If you were the player that made the connection, then you would get double the amount. The game will end if all railroads directly connect to at least 2 other railroads. That will cause the end of the game to occur. You count up the most money. Whoever has the most money is your winner. Who should buy this game? I mean, hardcore train fans are going to like this. If you want a lighter 18XX style game where you have company money shares versus your personal wealth, I think that's fine. I also think you're going to have to be okay with going turns without getting an option to play the game. It's going to be a big bummer for most. For me, this is going to be a purge and a pass, and what I can't even recommend you trying out unless you don't mind possibly going a couple rounds without getting a turn. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep